Hey folks, welcome. I thought I'd make a short video this time around to talk about OKRs. It's the subject of my new book with Josh Seiden called Who Does What by How Much. You can see it there in the corner of the screen there. I thought I'd just have a quick conversation describing exactly what an OKR is, show you how to write one, and call out a couple of the key differences that form the key thesis of this new book. Okay, so let's jump into it. An OKR is a team-based goal setting framework. It's a way to set goals for a team rather than an individual. And it's focused on measuring progress and success in terms of outcomes, in terms of changes in human behavior. So let's see what that looks like. It's really just a customer-centric way of thinking about measuring success rather than a feature or product centric way of thinking about success. So if we look at it, we've got objectives, right? There's two parts to it. We've got objectives and key results. We'll do objectives first, and then we'll do key results. For objectives, the qualities of your objectives, this is the goal. This is the change in the world that we'd like to see for our customers if we're successful. And so our objective is going to be qualitative. So you're going to see a lot of superlatives in a good objective statement: the best, the easiest, the simplest, the most compelling, something along those lines. It should be aspirational and inspirational. So in other words, I'm going to put aspirational here. This is something that we aspire to as an organization. It's something that we hope to achieve in the world. It should be inspirational as well, because this is the reason why your folks get out of bed every day. This is why we come to work. This is the change we'd like to see in the world. It should have clear customer value, right? So I'm going to put that clear customer value in there. In other words, this is if we achieve this, this is how the world will be better for the people that we serve, the clients, the users, the people who use our products and services. A good objective statement should be specific. So in other words, just sort of saying great user experience or best e-commerce. It's not enough, right? How are we going to actually make it great or the best, right? It should be specific. And then finally, the last thing we're looking for is time bound. What's the deadline for achieving this objective? When will we be done, or when do we expect to be done with that? And so if you're looking for an example, let's come up with an example, right, for a good objective statement. Let me grab a post-it note here. For example, the thing you've got to work on too is make sure that your objective falls within your specific sphere of influence. So it's something that you can actually impact as a team or as a company in the world itself. So let's assume for a second that we work on the authentication team for our service or our product, right? What would be a qualitative, aspirational, inspirational goal that we'd like to set that will make the customer more successful in the future? And that's specific. Well, let's assume we do authentication in the consumer financial services space, right? Something along those lines. So we want to create the simplest way to authenticate into your credit card account by the end of Q2, right? Something like that, right? And look, does that tick all our boxes? Is qualitative the simplest, right? That's qualitative. Is it aspirational? Yeah, we aspire to be the easiest way, the simplest way for people to authenticate into their accounts. Inspirational, look, we're the authentication team. This is why we get out of bed. So this is hopefully what we're trying to do, is make life easier and safer and secure, so more secure for our customers. This has clear customer value. Gosh, how many calls do you think a credit card company gets for access to the account, for resetting passwords, for getting passwords, and all that kind of stuff? And we've got a deadline, right? We'd like to get this done by the end of the year. So we're doing a pretty good job of writing a good objective statement here with that, okay? So let's come on over to key results, okay? Now, key results answer the question, how will we know? How will we know that we've achieved the objective? How will we know that we've created the simplest way to authenticate into your credit card statement by the end of Q2? And the answer to how will we know is defined with metrics, right? So let's be super clear about key results. Key results are the quantitative side of this conversation. So objectives are qualitative, key results are quantitative. Your key results are metrics. Okay, so again, I want to be super clear. Just I'll add this in here in case quantitative wasn't clear enough. I'll put it in parentheses, but they're metrics. In an ideal world, they are ratios or rates. In other words, you want to say 25% more of this, or twice as much, or 10% less, because that gives us a sense of how we're trending. Now, of course, that assumes that we have a baseline to compare to. If you don't have a baseline, you can start with an absolute number like acquire 5 new customers. But ultimately, you want to switch to ratios or rates to get a sense of whether you're growing or trending in the right direction or not. And most importantly, and the thing that makes OKRs different, and one of the key theses in the book that we've written, Who Does What by How Much, is this idea that key results must be outcomes. In fact, that's so important. I'm going to try to highlight it just a little bit more here, because this is what makes key results, the way that we define them, OKRs, in fact, different. Right? Your key results must be outcomes. They must be measures of human behavior. Right? Changes in human behavior tell us whether or not we've achieved the objective. The thing that often gets mixed up is you'll see a lot of output, a lot of features or solutions or services in your key results. Those are our best guesses about how to achieve the objective. Those are our best guesses about how to positively impact customer behavior. And so the thing that matters most, and the thing that makes this different and difficult, is that your key results must be outcomes, measures of human behavior. So let's take a look at that. Okay, if we're building the simplest way to authenticate into your credit card account by the end of Q2, how will we know that that's happening? Okay, well, I mean, we could, think about existing customers coming into the system and how long it takes them to authenticate before they can transact in the system, right? So existing customers spend 50% less time in the authentication process, right? That's one thing. If it's the simplest way to authenticate, then people are hopefully doing it more successfully, right? So we want to, reduce, let's say kind of card holders. That's a good one, right? Card holders call the call center to reset password 90% less, right? Again, we've got a human doing something, and we want to know by how much. We can continue to go down this particular path, but you'll notice a pattern that comes up in the key results themselves. And that pattern is, you know that you've written a good key result when you can answer the question, who does what by how much? Just like the title of the book, right? We're looking for those specific elements in our key results to tell us that we've actually written a key result, right? We want to know who is the actor that's actually doing something in the key result. We want to know what, right? What are they doing? Who does what? And then ultimately, we want to know by how much are they doing that? What's the change, right? More or less are they doing that? That's our goal. And if you can answer these 3 questions, you know you've written a good key result, right? So if we're looking at who does what by how much, right? Existing customers, that's our who. Spend time in the authentication process, that's the does what, and by how much? 50% less, right? So we've done a good job there of completing that. If we look at this other one, right, who does what by how much? Card holders call the call center to reset their password 90% less, right? Who does what by how much? And what that does is it ensures that our OKRs are focused on human behavior as the measure of success. They're focused on outcomes. It's this change in behavior that tells us that we've actually built the simplest way to authenticate into our credit card. You'll notice that in neither the objective nor the key results do we have any features. We don't have any features at all. And the reason for that is because there are an infinite number of ways for us to potentially change behavior in this way. And we want to create the space for our teams to go and figure that part out. So they're going to have to go and discover the best combination of code, copy, and design that drives this behavior change. So when we're defining our objectives and our key results, we're not focusing on features, we're focusing on our customers. We want to understand what the qualitative goal is, what is the benefit we'd like to create for the customer, the value in the world. And then with our key results, we want to get a sense of how their behavior changes in a way that tells us that we've actually delivered on that promise, on that objective. We're looking for those measurable changes in human behaviors, those outcomes. I hope that was helpful. That was very quick about what is an OKR and how to write one. We wrote one together right there. If you've got more questions, just let me know in the comments, or check out our new book at okr-book.com. You can find it over on Amazon. Thanks for watching.